I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the world's most influential basketball podcast. It is Wednesday. Typically, we podcast on Mondays or Tuesdays. A special midweek Cookies, slightly delayed, but here it is, more perfect than ever. Andrew, how are you liking the Wednesday pod?
Loving it. And there has been some traveling happening in the Cookies world, so that's why we are a bit late. And you know, when I think about faraway places, I just want to write a comedy show called I Love New York. Do you think that's a fresh idea?
I feel like New York hasn't been celebrated enough in mass media, but I also think it should be tinged with a little irony. Like, do you love New York, or is the titular sitcom that you're working on jabbing at what life is like in the aforementioned city?
Yeah. Well, do you think we could pitch a show to, say, HBO called How to Make It in New York? And me and you are scurrying down a downtown street with a shopping cart with a gyro in it in Mom Donnie's country.
I love Chat Square, and it's about a couple podcasters having the time of their lives with some missteps that are pretty funny, trying to live their lives in Chat Square. I love Chat Square.
I love Hell Square 7, which is Connecticut, where all the people are moving to after the latest mayoral election. It is the hijinks that happen with downtown New Yorkers in Danbury.
I read that article in New York Magazine where they once again platformed the people who are claiming that they're going to be leaving the city. And I guess it's based on Upper East Side, Upper West Side message boards. I don't know what those message
Upper
boards
East Side
are, but yeah. And
the mom message board.
You know, a lot of talk of Connecticut or Florida or Jersey and so forth. I say we have to do everything in our power to keep them here. If that means stopping Zoran from becoming mayor, we have to do it. If those people are threatening to leave, the moms of the Upper East Side, we can't live without them. This city needs those moms.
I mean, it's an emergency. We need to lean into our strengths. You are the political activist that can do what you just said. I am a HBO TV producer. I will produce a show celebrating the city to convince them to stay.
I feel like you're alluding to the smash HBO sensation, I Love LA, featuring Twitter celebrity turned actress or something within that permutation, Rachel Sennett.
Comedian, Twitter. Yeah. Is it Senate or Senate? Senate? I want to get it right.
We're going to talk about the Senate enough later on this pod. Let's call her Senate, because this is not about the Senate.
Right. It is a show that's on HBO, and there's like a ton of good TV out right now. My streaming is streaming. But I have not been able to really get into this I Love LA show, mostly for the premise, maybe for the tone, but it made me sort of like thinking about faraway places, made me appreciate the era of Lena Dunham, Bushwick lore, and New York City before Instagram.
There are several TV shows out right now that focus on LA, which is not a new thing, obviously. This is Hollywood. It's navel gazing, as it always is and always will be. But there's a particular type of sitcom right now. I believe they're all half-hour formats, 22 minutes, whatever. But like they mostly have Seth Rogen. And then there's I Love LA. And it was funny because I was scrolling through looking for some fine entertainment to watch. And the two Seth Rogen shows were right next to each other. Like, right, one is called Platonic, and I guess the other one, I don't even know what it's called. Whatever.
The producer or something,
It may have been
or
that. But they were juxtaposed, I think somewhat coincidentally, unless they're pegging me, pause, for a Rogen fan. And
We'll get to the sentence.
and both of them had Seth wearing glasses, prominently displayed, and behind them was a skyline of LA and palm trees. In both ads, right next to each other. Identical.
Yeah.
In every single way, except for there was a woman who is his platonic partner in one. And I thought I've never wanted to click on anything less.
That's how I feel about. I mean, there's certain stories that you mentioned, right? Like the Seth Rogen theme, the move to LA, the frontier of the West, the creative frontier of the West, the edges of the human imagination. That is one thing. Like dad stuff, trauma stuff, like death of cancer. All those. Is cancer funny? Like I can't do that anymore. Can we make fun of cancer? I'm like, we've tried, and I don't bristle at the premise of it, but the packaging has to be a little different in 2025.
I have nothing against Seth Rogen. In fact, I once signed an autograph as him.
Say less. What happened?
So say more is what you're asking.
Is say less, say more, or say less?
It's like when you say no spoilers.
When I say literally, when the dictionary says literally, it's like it can be the thing or not the thing. Okay, say more.
Okay, I'm going to say more. I think this was in...
Next segment. No, I mean, does say more mean say less? I don't know.
I think say less is you don't even need to expand on this story about Seth Rogen. You signed an autograph as him. I don't need to hear another word of this tale. Just leave it there. We understand. But I will tell the rest of this yarn. In fact, I was at a party, and this guy walks up to me. He's like, "You're the dude from Knocked Up." It's like, "No, I'm not. I didn't know who Seth Rogen was." He's like, "Yeah, you are." No, I really don't know the guy you're talking about. He's like, "You're Seth Rogen." I'm like, "Fine, man, fine." So he gives me a pen and a paper, and I'm like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Jason." I don't know, whatever. Thomas. I'm like, "Okay, Thomas." And I didn't know Seth Rogen's name, so I gave a really elaborate scrawl that was indecipherable. So hopefully this guy has been able to live his life believing that he was at Southpaw in Brooklyn and ran into Seth Rogen, who was also at Southpaw for some reason, who signed his signature. Would you like me to say
That's
less
like
now?
when Josh Hartnett was creeping. Or say more. Say more. No, say more. When Josh Hartnett was creeping in our orbit, he thought I was Ben Cho for so long that he would invite Ben Cho to events, and when I wouldn't show up, he'd be like, "You didn't come to my thing." And I'm like, "I am not Ben Cho." And he'd be like, "Fine." And then the next day or the next week, he'd be like, "What up, Ben?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Rest in peace, Ben Cho."
Do you think he's a racist?
We're all a little bit racist. He loved Ben Cho. So like,
Did he?
I
Or
don't
did he
think he's
he love Andrew Kuo?
This is the question, right? This is where, is it less Ben Cho or more Ben Cho?
Sorry, I'm just thinking about him confiding you at a party, like, "Oh, this fucking loser Andrew Kuo just got here."
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Oh, this dude's
God,
the
has that
worst.
ever happened to me?
Hey, Ben, Cho, do you see who just walked in?
Yeah. I don't even. Yeah, I'm trying to think if that has ever happened to me in real life, just with a friend circle, and I can't recall. I'm saying more.
You said more.
said more.
And again, my point here is that I have nothing against Seth Rogen, despite the story that I said more about. That didn't bother me. That was fine. I have no issue with that. I've liked him in several comedies. I think as a person, he seems like a nice fellow. He's come to embody annoying LA in many ways. He is the symbol of LA shit that I'm not into.
Very wealthy, more of a producer than a comedian, smokes a ton of weed, does ceramics.
I don't like any of those things.
Does AD, like, AD, welcome to my house. Like, LA, is LA even a top 5 city? Is it even a city? And is the culture there something anybody outside of LA cares about?
Well, I don't know, man. I now live in New Orleans, aka the Big Easy, the City of Lights,
So,
the city that never
this
sleeps,
is the reveal.
the city of
I thought we were keeping your location a
the
secret.
birthplace of rock and roll.
Zion, you know who I can't stand? That motherfucker Ben Dietrich, man. Zion, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, that's Andrew Kuo. You got this all wrong,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
No, I'm here for a couple.
Which
I'm
Pelicans
here for a
player
couple
would you
days.
be?
I'm here for a couple days. I'm gonna try to go to the Pelicans game later. I think that would be fun.
Is there a white sharpshooter on the Pelicans currently? Not that I can recall.
Alvarado,
Is it?
is that as close as we got?
He's not white.
I know, but sort of.
He's from Brooklyn.
Well,
And
I mean,
you're
he's,
from Rochester.
he's from Williamsburg. Like,
Yeah. You used to live in Williamsburg?
grew-
Yeah, I
that's where he
mean,
grew up.
okay. So can you get on the court as Jose Alvarado?
no, he's way too popular here for me to pull off that ruse. Sadly,
He is very popular. He is the people's champ.
I mean,
In
we're
New
talking too much
Orleans.
hoops, but it is also worth saying though that Joe Dumars' plan has not exactly come to fruition. Oh, okay. Maybe I can pretend to be Carlo Matkovic. That would be my ploy.
Matkovic, you know who I can't stand? Fucking Dietrich. You know what I'm talking about, Mac?
I have to pretend to speak Serbian or something. I don't know. The whole thing is going to
Yeah.
fall apart. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be.
But back to
I'm
the-
going to have egg on my face in the middle of the Smoothie King Center.
Yeah, when you don't hit 5 out of 7 threes, they're gonna know.
Put it in Dietrich.
It's like, what the fuck, Matkovic? You went cold. You're so wait. Are you Dietrich? Anyway, it is worth mentioning that I Love LA. To me, is comforting in like an old idea of a show, but also so mistimed. And sometimes when there's a lack of new ideas that I sense that there is currently, not because I can't find things I love. There's so many things I love currently, but I just think the flattening of the way money has flattened TV is notable. And I do think that the potential of this show to be a buzzy moment in pop culture is imaginable, but maybe 15 years off.
When you say I love LA, I think you're talking about Louisiana. So like that's kind of the wavelength I'm on personally.
You love LA.
Louisiana, right?
Yeah. You currently love LA.
I do. But yeah, I think your point that you made,
and Lamarcus Hall.
yes, the point you made earlier about Lena Dunham and Girls being this sort of, epoch-defining comedy, and also it was the setting, the time, it was immaculately constructed to represent that, and I think Sex and the City did the same thing. So in some ways, maybe in 10 years, there will be people who say Rachel Sennott captured, 2025 LA, what it was like to live there and date there, just nailed it. But I also think it may not have that sort of aspirational legacy that Sex and the City had, where it's like, oh, I want to live on Bleecker Street. I want to get that cupcake. I'm going to be a Samantha. And I remember when you told me, like, I came to New York to be a Samantha, and I was like, Andrew, you to me are Ben Cho.
Yeah. Samantha, you know who that motherfucker Ben Dietrich is? God damn that fucker.
That's Carrie.
Samantha, I really need to talk about this asshole Bendy.
By the way, I think I mentioned this to you, and we don't need to talk about the Chair Factory, which has taken a even more surreal
Chair
Chair Company.
Company.
Excuse me, yeah, which
I always get it twisted
a
too.
surreal series that is continuing to get more and more surreal as it goes on, did go back to Lena Dunham's stomping grounds for the episode in which there were multiple scenes in bars, one of which was when his seedy friend is playing the trivia game.
Amazing scene.
With like the women in bikinis.
These women are so hot. These women are so hot. It was so funny.
And that
and sad.
That I believe was shot in Connie O's, which is a super divey like old head bar in Greenpoint. There is
in the Connie corridor.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of a 1-of-1 in Greenpoint. It's still seedy.
Yeah.
You walk in there, you might get a slur. It's like
Love it.
old guard, grimy bar. But also, the major fight scene was shot in Palace, which is right near Garlic Park, and it's like a fairly popular bar. And yeah, watching it, I was like, wait a minute, that place looks familiar. And then someone else on a group chat was like, that was at Palace, a bar that you've been to several times. Yes.
And the show is supposed to take place in Columbus, so saying a lot about Greenpoint. But yeah, I mean, that kind of ties into what I was thinking, and I want to bring another show or movie into this. It's Materialist, that is on Netflix right now, too, about a matchmaker in New York, set in New York, present time. Love that idea. We always talk about cities and locations as characters in some movies and shows when they can be. And the person who did Past Lives did Materialist, and about the Korean couple who reconnect in New York City in real time as well. And it's really cool to see though this scene trapped in amber. And it was not good, but there's some spoilers, actual spoilers. So don't listen if you're going to watch Materialist. But one of the reveals, don't listen to this. Beep this out for the next 3 minutes. Don't do it. I said do not do it, which means do it. There's a lengthening reveal as a surprise, but in terms of matchmaking. But if the place is strong enough, like in Materialist, in my opinion, it kind of works. But it doesn't really lean into New York. It takes place in the West Village and Fifth Avenue and lofts that you may recognize, but it doesn't really make a point of it. Other things happen, which I think is a good use of it. And when it's overt, like in a movie like Manhattan, it's amazing. Or it's I Love LA, which it feels like a grind. This is like trying to convince me where the location should kind of accelerate.
Right, of course. If the show was just called Being Rachel,
totally different,
for
right?
example,
Totally different.
then it's like, it's a vehicle for Rachel Sennott. But when it's called I Love LA, you're trying to define something. You're trying to capture this moment. So the city of LA is actually like a character itself in many ways. I'm like, right, as it is in virtually everything that's set there, like say Larry David. So that LA is a prominent character in that because he lives
from
there.
The famous show Curb Your LA Enthusiasm.
But right, yeah. I think like The Night Of, right? The crime show with your boy Riz. And
I like that show.
I thought it was a good show. I liked it. We made fun of it, but also enjoyed it type of vibes on that one.
Yeah.
But that was set in New York. It was set in the New York criminal justice system, but it wasn't called The Night of New York.
Right. Judgment Night was not called Judgment in Chicago Night.
Was that in Chicago or Detroit? I forget. Either way.
Maybe it was Detroit.
That's why you got to put the name of the city in the title.
Right. There's some producer somewhere being like, Rachel Sennott has the easiest path to stardom of anybody on our roster. Just put her in LA, call the show, I Love LA and let the pieces fall. Which is funny because she's always in my feed. She's always tied to Stavi, who took a very strange route to stardom. So it's like two different things. And I don't know. I find both these people hilarious, but also in the way they deliver their first combination of punches to various degrees of effectiveness.
Is Rachel Sennott a psyop? Is that what you're saying?
Everything is there, right? Like I thought Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was really funny. I didn't think it didn't have the gravity that I expected from it, from all the writing and words put on it, but I thought it was really good. I thought the path was there, and when I get that feeling, I have that 90s skepticism.
I think her Twitter feed was genuinely funny enough that she is very talented, and she's also
For sure.
conventionally attractive, and that sounds like someone who could be a star.
Immediately, right? If you can identify somebody with that skill set, I don't know. Like I was surprised to see this show when it was announced, and then watching it was kind of what I was, I don't know, fearing. I don't know. It's easy to move on from shows, which is always been the case. I wasn't like a Sex and the City super fan, but there was a genius there that everyone kind of just could see in plain sight. The genius here is more hidden.
It's kind of shocking that no one came out with a show called like Down on Canal Street Blues or some shit. Kind of shocking. You would have thought that coming out
Had
of
to
the
make it in
pandemic.
America. Right.
No, but that was like really Canal. I'm saying coming out of the amount of unwarranted hype for Dime Square that flooded out of the pandemic, I'm so shocked there was not a Dime Square show.
I mean, it's almost like Labubu, right? We know for a fact that shows were pitched about that, and they got pretty far, I believe. But in that Labubu way, it declined so fast that the production of content couldn't catch up with it. And I think the Dime Square thing declined so quickly that it was harder to package than it seems.
Okay, we're here to write about this new bohemian neighborhood. What's up with this massively expensive hotel with $40 cheeseburgers? Is that part of the story or no?
So there's this guy who started Facebook, who started paying for everything. But he's kind of the mastermind behind the presidency. But this is still about young people on Canal Street.
That would have been a much better show.
How would we do it? Let's
game is
workshop
to be
this out.
game is to be sold, not told. Can't just be announcing these gems that you've got marinating in Ben Cho's brain over there.
Say more. But yeah, the location of places is a crutch in, I think, a lot of these shows and movies. For example, Treme, high hopes for that show, based on the provenance of its creator, The Wire. Really not great. And you're in the heart of Treme Central, and damn, that show was unwatchable. But like, kind of a lovable city, kind of a lovable ideas, but together glorifying the city after the heartbreak it went through just like kind of didn't work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of neighborhoods, say in New York, that you could still do a show about and have a titular neighborhood and it wouldn't seem weird. But I decided you can do it with all of them. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I always say this, you love a place when you look at every corner of it and be like, I can live there. That's interesting. I could hang out there. There's no part of New York that I'm like, I hate it here. I'm like,
yeah, I just mean you could do a show. It's like, yeah, the NoHo murders. Like, all right, got it.
I mean, Daredevil, right? They're trafficking women in Hell's Hell's Kitchen. Like, what? Say what? Damn, I'm never going to Hell Kitchen. Hell Kitchen.
Keep me away from the Yotel over there. Don't want to get trafficked.
How many fascist podcasters are hanging out on Canal? Forget it. I'm never going down there.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely just do a pitch meeting like, okay, Jackson Heights? Huh? What do you think? No? Okay, hold on. Sunset Park. Oh, Sunset Park? Yeah.
Canarsie.
You said that as a joke, and my eyebrows slightly raised, like, Canarsie. Okay, say less.
Say more. I mean, get Safdie on the phone, right? Like, that sounds like a pulse pounding mystery.
Brighton Beach? Oh, that just won an Academy Award. Sorry, that's out.
Yeah, this is about the heroin epidemic near JFK. It's like, ooh. When can you get a script on my table?
Ellis Island? What?
Little Paris? They're trafficking what in Little Paris?
Ladiv who?
Yeah. Dickhead Triangle. Are we talking about the Senate now?
Oh, man.
All right, shall we move to the Senate?
Well, I was going to say, it's too bad we haven't talked about... We've already used Dickhead Triangle for a title, I'm sure.
I mean, there's many rumored Dickhead Triangles, and until I hear denial of them, I'm going to assume the rumors are true.
Well, I wanted to talk quickly about Quarter Zip, and I think your Canarsie lead-in is perfect for this. So in the same outer borough parts of Brooklyn where, and I guess Queens as well, but mostly those two regions, I would say, where the Zesty Sturdy came out of the blue to sweep the nation. That's a sensational new dance. There's new trends going on where the youth are now wearing quarter zips and like masquerading as being mature. And they're like, oh, you know, the shiesty and like the tech jacket, that's out. Now we're wearing quarter zip fleeces and glasses and drinking matcha and walking around and being like positive role models. That's like the new running gag over the last week or so on social media.
Delinquent kids? Delinquent kids are doing this.
Yeah, that's kind of the running joke. So it went from the ones who were running around with the belts, and they were like, "We're going to discipline the bad kids." And the next permutation of like that is like the kids have been cured, and now they're all wearing quarter zips and they're dressing like Tiger Woods.
I mean, this kind of phenomenon is identifiable in the lowlifes, right? Because before polo and preppy stuff was a signifier of maybe like hood stuff, it was a commentary on people with money. Before the lowlifes made it fashionable and lasting as an idea of delinquency. And this is kind of the same thing, right? Like mischief identifying non-mischief and kind of switching up codes.
Yeah, it's less about the lowlifes, which were, you know, as you said, driven by, there's like a money element to it, like being fresh. These, I don't think there's like, look, I look awesome in this quarter zip. It's very much like a role play type of thing, but it is also like a class idea in some sense. It's like, I'm now dressing like a square. I'm drinking matcha. We're not drinking.
Or CEO.
Exactly. It's almost like tech dork meets. Yeah, I don't know. They're like very close to getting into like the bubble vests. And I'm like, oh, wow, now we're going back to the bubble vest?
I mean, the snake is going to eat its tail so fast, right? Because they're going to be like, we're dressing up like these tech dudes, these day traders, these wannabe IPO dudes in Nick's Gap stuff, or like Siegelman Stable, like Jalen Brunson. I'm like, they met right in the middle.
Yeah, and I wonder how fast this is going to get picked up and turned into a fake trend, because I saw within like a day and a half, Complex saw it, and it was like posting about it. Like, the quarter zip is in. I'm like, oh, so marketing people are going to start churning out quarter zips for the quarter zip trend that I think is essentially totally based on a joke coming out of like one crew.
Right, right. I mean, that's how stuff starts, right? And that person writing for Complex, which is still a platform for street culture.
Yeah, valid.
So they're doing their job well, and it's like, you saw what? Where were you on this weekend? Yeah, write about it because we got nothing else going on. We don't want to talk about I Love LA.
No, they're right. They should be talking about that. Here's a fun like menswear trend that is organic and new and strange and interesting in the same way that 6'7" became intolerable, but it had an interesting genesis. It was just a kid
Yeah.
saying 6'7" or 6'7" and bobbling
Yeah.
his hands, and it became something that every tween in America knows. It might.
Yo, I was walking
Yeah,
home with
quarter. So yes, quarter zip, invest. I was the only one that believed in quarter zips.
right, right. Yo, I had a quarter zip when I was cold one winter in 2001. These biters, swagger jackers.
I have a mansion based in my investments in early quarter zip vests. The fleeces are really the
Yeah.
ones where I made my fortune.
It's so confusing, right? Because in my mind, to that point, I think like this CEO, what do they call it? Like Gorpcore. Uh, is such an ironic old idea that people wearing it must be advanced because they're just like rocking the Curry two Under Armour Curry twos with no irony. And then I realize it is just CEOs anyway, or people. And I realize this in the private school open houses that I've been going to. That sometimes you got to do your due diligence, and I can't afford any of these private schools, but I'm there taking a look, and yo, the people with money, they dress like that. They just dress like, and you can see it.
Yeah, this isn't even as thought out as you said, like lowlifes, which you could turn that into actual social commentary about brands that were made for upper crust blue bloods and how it's being reinvented and worn in different styles. Nah, they're just wearing like an Alo's like fleece that's a quarter
Right.
zip. There's nothing to it other than that it has a zipper that goes down like to mid into your sternum. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to this.
Can we kind of
Capitalize off
wedge
of this and get rich.
a norm? Yes, say more. But can we talk about normcore here? Is there anything there?
It feels slow to or oblivious of the idea of like quiet luxury that was such a a talking point because of Succession over the last couple years, where it's like, oh, that's a quarter zip, all right, except that it costs $2,000. This isn't even cognizant of it being wealth. It's just that like
This is what I mean.
this is a symbolization of being a herb.
Like, how far can you take it? Can you show up dressed up like Larry David in like simple skate shoes, corduroy pants, and just like a Eddie Bauer zip up and be transgressive? Is that the right word?
I don't know where this as being a trend or being a joke ends, and maybe no one does, which is why it's sort of delightful, right? Because
Yeah.
if someone shows up in a quarter zip, are people going to say, "Damn, this guy's cool as hell," or are they going to say,
Yeah,
are
dude.
you in on the
This is what
joke
I
or
mean.
not? I'm also confused by your quarter zip. Is that Ben Cho in a Woolrich zip up? I can't tell.
Yo, come over here in your quarter zip. Yo, that motherfucker Ben Dietrich, man. I just can't. I gotta tell somebody, dude. I'm Ben Dietrich, though. I'm Ben Dietrich.
I have a really good yellow LL Bean quarter zip that's slightly too small for me, and I'm also not sure that I can wear yellow. There's two issues with
You
it.
can wear yellow. Why?
The yellow issue and my uncertainty about wearing it, but also that it's just too small, which is a larger issue in my mind.
Do you think the yellow brings out your skin tone too much? Why not yellow?
I just don't think, maybe this is all because Earl Sweatshirt once posted white people shouldn't wear yellow, and I really stuck in, I really thought about that and said, maybe he's right. He's a wise guy. He's smart. Maybe he sees something I don't. He sees those Lakers running around in yellow jerseys and is like, what the hell, Luka?
Austin, what the fuck, Reeves? Someone commented on one of Pablo's photos that he couldn't wear, Asian people shouldn't wear yellow either. And I'm like, this is complicated, right? Because our skin actually isn't yellow. It's kind of like more like Lakers, like golden something. Like Asian people aren't yellow.
No, I guess
you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I like that you're like, our flesh is more like a Lakers uniform.
It's like not quite bright yellow. When we say brown people or white people, it kind of makes more sense in Asian people being yellow. It's like light brown, but it's no fun making fun of somebody or identifying light brown as opposed to brown.
Maybe white people and Asian people aren't. Maybe we're just not allowed to wear yellow. Maybe it's out.
Yellow is tight. We're gonna put out some yellow hats.
Yellow. Our yellow hats.
With like
you're correct. The yellow hats look great on everyone. Absolutely every person can wear that, and that refutes Earl's sweatshirt.
If your skin is yellow, the yellow hat really brings it out in a good way.
That anonymous commenter on Pablo's Instagram feed, he has no idea what he's talking about, and he's absolutely right.
So I talking about Instagram fashion stuff. Some person that I haven't noticed before kind of went semi-viral with a take like, mark my words, bookmark this. This winter, Eddie Bauer, LL Bean, huge. And I sarcastically responded with, you're going to see North Face everywhere. And they were like, that too. And it made me feel bad because I was being a catty person that I don't like to be, which I truly am. But also like, oh, people aren't as annoying about this as I am. Like, I'm so annoying about this because I'll just go out to the supermarket and be like, these motherfuckers wearing quarter zips.
Yeah.
Like, no one thinks like that, right? It's a disease.
Just you and the complex trend investigator.
And Ben Cho, rest in peace. Yeah. I mean, it is an annoying place to be because as soon as someone goes a bit farther, be like, oh, I like this Amy Leon Dore thing. I'm like, I'm out. I stopped thinking about it. I'm done.
We have some friends like that, and I do enjoy talking to them, where they're like, hey, like 7 years ago, I identified this particular model of one sneaker, and I knew it was going to blow, and 7 years later, look who's wearing it. I'm like, keep doing this. That's your guy. Your guy was a pair of jeans. Your guy was flannel. Keep it rocking.
Yeah. One of my best memories of hot dog legs is him being like, you know what I see everywhere these days that I think is played? Color gradients. I'm like, whoa, keep on going. He's just like, you know when stuff fades from one color to another color? He's like, it's played out. I'm like, I fucking love this. I can listen to this all day long.
I was the only one who believed in corduroy. And now, look at the masses. I'm rich. I'm rich off of corduroy stocks.
I know. It's like I said after I felt bad about being like, oh, North Face is going to be everywhere, which was like such a dumb thing to think and write and comment on. I was like, there's no fashion take that is wrong. Like, for example, the same day I read someone write, the whole ecosystem of fashion began with skateboarding. And I'm like, I've heard this idea my whole life. Fine, whatever. Just show a picture of a skinny person wearing baggy jeans. Okay. I don't think so. I can prove examples why I don't think that's true, but that's cool.
I saw the same kind of viral collection of posts proving that this was the case. I'm like, sure. We've known about this since like the 90s. Sure, yes. Skateboarding and rap music have influenced fashion immeasurably at various times more than others for like 40 years. Like go back to Lagerfeld. Like yes, there is ample evidence. Whatever you want to prove here, it's true. Cool.
Listen, the pork pie hat originated because it could stay on your head as you're doing the pressure flips. You know, like if when you're at the TF in the East Village, that pork pie hat comes in handy.
Wow, looks like more examples of how all current fashion began with the Newsies.
Yeah. The whole
Weird shoes, big baggy pants, a large sling to carry today's newspaper, a hat to keep the rain and elements out of your face. Yep, that's Newsy core.
Yeah, that bag full of today's news. Read all about it. Man, the entire ecosystem of aesthetics starts on that bicycle.
Oh, someone yelling extra.
Yeah. Old people shaking their fists at kids who are missing the target with the toss. Man, all ecosystems.
Yeah, I just got back from Milan, and there's a whole lot of this season. You're going to see sprinklers going off and wetting down the newspaper that's been thrown into the newly mowed grass. So, like, keep an eye out for that. That's just some trend forecasting. You're going to read about that in Complex going forward.
It's not the fashion show. You got to pay attention to the designer coming out from behind the curtain after, and the dog chasing it down the runway. Rah, 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 rah. Yeah, I'm just trying to deliver the news. Read all about it.
Extra.
Yeah. We're doing a collab with Bazooka Joe. Hey.
Oh, man. Honestly, the Newsy shit is played to me.
Oh, wow. That means it's back. That means it's fucking back, man. Newsies are...
Sorry,
you heard it here first. Say
jokes.
more, man.
I'm back. I was laughing too hard at Newsy jokes.
But I quite enjoy that idea where the thing you care about is the thing that is the only origin of everything. I'm like, ooh, I like being surrounded by people who love LA.
Well, that is a segue for that ass, because the Epstein files are a crank's paradise. Whatever you care about, be it pedos, be it the global hand of the elites, whether it is cover-ups, whether it's Pizzagate, it's Mueller is coming. There's something for everyone, almost like a yellow cookies hat, but it's the Epstein files.
Yeah, and we're not yet up to the NBA portion of this perfect pod, so we don't want to implicate Bubba Carrington in any of this tomfoolery.
How do we start on the Epstein files? Because we've talked about it.
I'll start it off. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was going to say we've talked about it in the past, but now we're at another point in this ongoing saga, which you are now going to detail.
Did Trump slob on Bubba's knob?
Look, I think that's preposterous, and the only way it could be true is if, I don't know, Trump had some sort of mentor that was a gay man, powerful, wealthy, partook in orgies with other wealthy and powerful men, and collected mutually destructive blackmail material against each other. Like, if he had a mentor, like the guy who taught him, how to navigate the channels of politics and power, these commie corridors, if you will. If that guy existed, I might believe it. But if not, no way.
Remember when New York Mets catcher Mike Piazza had to hold a press conference being like, I am not gay. I just want to make, not that there's anything wrong with it, Larry David, but I just want you to know all these rumors. I just want to get in front of it. I am a single man in New York City. The world is my a personal oyster, and I just want to respect every lifestyle mentioned.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Which was a crazy moment, right? You're like, what is going on? He's a catcher for the New York Mets.
Well,
I mean, he was a famer.
So was he gay?
I don't know or care, but that was the funniest part. Being like, well, if you were, that would be amazing. But now that you say you're not, is it guilty because he addressed it and said those words? And like, I just hope one of these upcoming days, Trump is like, listen, I did not slam on Bubba's knob.
My not involved in homosexuality press conference has people asking a lot of questions already answered by my press conference.
I did not dome a Clinton. I want him to just say those words.
I mean, that was a great place to start with this. That was a sentence in an email between Jeffrey Epstein and his brother, another Epstein. And I believe that comment was actually said by the other Epstein, but then...
Yeah. Well, did you get a photo?
Yes. Or no, did the photos of Trump slobbing Bubba's knob get to Putin or something along those lines? That, like, the emails are great because on one hand, all these incredibly wealthy, powerful, and malevolent figures all kind of seem to know each other and are as like dumb as a bag of rocks. They're all kind of illiterate. And like, these are the people who are sculpting this planet in which the miseries of the masses are so profound. It's these guys? Like, haha, I did sex crimes.
Yeah, like the infamous skulls. I believe it's from Yale University.
Skull and Bones,
that
right?
was Skull and Bones. And like, what'd you guys do? It's like, well, we got wasted and ended up working for our dads. I'm like, what else did you do? It's like, that's it.
Well, let me think. I drew a dong on someone's forehead in marker when they were passed out. And then I think we like pillaged the magnesium supply from Chad. I think we did both of those things.
Yeah. Like, I lit my farts on fire and then poured vodka in it. Skull and Bones, buddy.
And then I tanked the economy.
Yeah. And then I became Secretary of State. But like, I think people are dumb. I think the performer and audience are kind of always tricking each other. And I like the people who are turning this into like serious stuff. It is absolutely serious. There's crimes, there is people getting hurt, the victims and all that. But like, this is a form of the grossness that is not just the internet. It is just like the way people talk about news. I'm like, if we were actually kind, which we say we are, like, we wouldn't be talking about this in this way.
I don't know. I think this story is strange because of the way it's being reported, depending on who you're listening to. It's like, this is a story about sex and we need to listen to the victims. And then you have other outlets that are like, this is about national security. This is about money. This is about espionage. This is about these factors. And like, what you're into is kind of like the Mapo mirror. Like, hey, you know, I'm kind of like a white pepper guy. It's like, oh yeah, you've got your white pepper. You can go follow like Prince Andrew and you know, these people, these photos, and Bill Clinton and these things. Or you can say, well, what was he doing with the Rothschilds? Trying to create an Israeli cyber attack network? Well, that sounds like some Prison Planet Alex Jones conspiracy theory. I'm like, well, that's part of it too. Something for everyone.
Hey, I look at a Rothko and I just see the Knicks winning percentage. Hazy, unclear, but distinct. Yeah, it is this. The less we know, the more projections we make. I mean, gone are the days of talking about Pizzagate. That seems ridiculous.
Until this was just Pizzagate.
That's what I'm saying, right? And we joked about it at the time, which is like, all these weird abstractions from reality have root in some trigger. Not truth, but trigger. It's like liberals are eating babies. It's like, well, they do grind up placenta and turn them into pills and swallow them. That happens.
I think a few pods ago, whatever, a couple of months ago, whenever this story was discussed on a different Perfect Pod, I remember saying, I think this is like the biggest national security scandal in American history. I'm like, there's a good chance of that. Now I sort of have even moved beyond that in a larger way, not necessarily as like, it's even worse. It's almost like, well, this is just the world we live in. This is now connected between commerce and, governments and like intelligence services, but also like the tendrils that bring in like academia and pundits. It's just this gross blob of like powerful, wealthy people and what they are able to influence in the West and how that expands throughout the globe. It's like, I don't know if you saw that show, The Octopus, which was, I believe, a Netflix show, but one of those streaming services. And it was about this guy who started with this like, small conspiracy. And I forget if it was the one that was actually tied to like Robert Maxwell, but there was like a small conspiracy. And it just balloons into this thing. Well, it's like, yeah, but that's what this is. You've now uncovered the existence of the CIA. And like, yeah, you already knew they existed though, right? Like, oh yeah, I guess. But everything ties to them, like, right, because that's what they do. It's like discovering oxygen.
Right. What is discovered and what is invented? No spoilers, which actually means no spoilers. The last episode of The Chair Company, he sees a bunch of chairs and he's like, holy cow, here are the chairs. I'm in a room full of the chairs, which is what you're talking about, right? And I thought that show is probably, I hate to use the S-bomb, but it's smart. But it also is talking about something more than just like hilarious stuff in the Connie corridor. But I think like the disappointing or the realization, to your point about how the world works, how the NBA works, how corporations work, how Dime Square works, is it's not people sipping brandy in expensive rooms with skulls hanging on the walls talking about philosophy and action. It's people chugging Goldschlager through their buttholes and be like, when this is done, let's like run some policy.
When this is over, we're going to like absorb the Golan Heights. Like, great.
Yeah. It's like when we wake up from this hangover of this like college football game, let's tax somebody.
It's funny that you mentioned that because in that book, the Jakarta Method, they talk a lot about sort of early times with the CIA, and it was exactly as you described. It was like them just sort of hanging out, getting wasted, and then be like, all right, let's like overturn the government in Brazil. Like, fuck it. Yeah. It's like, it's very much as you described it.
Sophistication is a projection, right? Everyone's wearing 3/4, but I think like the theme of the news that I'm getting fed through my feed these days is like you can either focus on the minutia, which is like which Bubba do we speak of, or how much money did Kawhi actually accept, and how much did he decline? Do those match up? Or you could talk about something that I think is more interesting and has a longer tail, which is like, how does power behave and misbehave?
Yeah, to me, the puzzling part about this is seeing this kind of network of control that, whether it's like figures or entities or corporations, that is just, used to basically just exploit loopholes or be outside of the law just to enrich and empower small amounts of people at the expense of everyone else. And you're like, yeah, this is gonna be really tough to fix, man. Yeah, that's a lot going on there. Like, I think we should really get these files out there. That would be helpful, so people can sort of understand these connections, and the bad guys can get, pointed out. We can, this guy's a pedo. We can, like all admirable pursuits. Like, I'm very interested in getting the full information. It just feels like, well, that's just never gonna happen. It's the same way. Like, we got the CIA files, and like, except for the ones that you really wanted to see. Those you won't. Those you can't see those. But why not? I'm an American. Yeah, they're not for you.
And the next question, exactly. And the next question I always come to is like, what does the CIA want? What is their objective? To protect power, to protect our sanity. Like one of the conspiracy theories I kind of believe is uh, Democrats, Republicans, CIA, certain ones know exactly how Elon Musk stole the election, but don't want to say it because it'll disrupt the trust of the entire process. But they know how it was done, and they're willing to live with the consequences just to preserve the illusion of fairness. That's what I believe. Probably not true. And like the gut reaction I have with power, Mandami, Balmer, all these ideas that are orbiting our brains at such a fast rate recently is like not only is greed as a culture, but greed as a genetic disposition we have. When people started farming and started like moving a lot, you had people gathering things and storing things and thinking progressively towards a further point in time, the future. And that is just hoarding, that is wealth, and it created power. It's just like a way of survival. So I can understand greed. Obviously, I feel greedy a lot as I'm pillaging my kids' Halloween candy every day. I understand greed like everyone else does. The cruelty is the entertainment for someone like the CIA or for Epstein or for Trump and Clinton. It's the cruelty that's interesting to them.
And in some ways, I feel like, Trump is presented as sort of I don't know, he's got a weird role in this because he's the one preventing it from coming out. So he is sort of like the leader of this thing, but he's also potentially a blackmail victim who is like sucking off an ex-president. Like he's just an odd position in this. Like
he didn't deny it.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's a victim of blackmail.
He's expressing that.
Who's also the bad guy. Yes. He's a complicated character in this saga.
Yeah, and he's kind of telling us that, right? If we talk about literacy, even in his dumbass words, he's like, listen, Clinton was the guy who invited me in and did all this stuff. Yeah, I did very bad stuff, but like you're looking in the wrong place. But I can't say that because I did bad stuff and now I'm president of the United States. So anything bad is bad, but I wasn't the bad one. And I believe him.
Well, there's also this growing disconnect. I know the phrase post-truth gets used a lot, but between like what the government says and what is remotely believable. And I don't find it as healthy. And I think that's like one of the things that Zoran did well, that he talked to people and they said, oh, this guy's talking to me and not totally full of shit, even though he had his critics. But he's just saying, I think the buses should be faster. Like, okay, that's cool. Everything that the Democrats and Republicans say is just fucking horseshit all the time. It's like, here comes Pam Bondi to lie to you. Oh, okay, here comes Cash full of lies. I don't know who killed Charlie Kirk because I can't trust anybody who says anything about it. I don't know what's up with the Epstein files. I don't know if Trump was sucking the schlong of a former president. Who are we supposed to believe? There is no credible place. The media isn't credible. Like the authorities aren't credible. It's just one podcast, Cookies Hoops.
When we're not looking in the Mapua mirror. And like, do you blame them? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene has just been talking her shit for the last couple weeks about how she's woken up to the plight and the empathy that human beings should have for each other. She's tricking everybody. She's done really, in my political opinion, harmful things to our way of life, to our government policy, to the way we talk about issues coming from people who are in control of treating these issues with their solutions. And everyone's just like, finally, she's one of us. I'm like, we're so dumb, myself included. We're just so dumb. A few words, an apology means a lot. I always say people who change their mind and forgive are powerful and beautiful. I don't trust her, though. We got to be literate here.
I think people are listening to some of the stuff she's saying and not everything. Because if you listen to the full range of her opinions, she's
still MAGA.
She's still MAGA, like for sure. So I think she's speaking in a important way about other issues, about things that need to be talked to, and I do admire her bravery for that, and I do agree with her on certain angles.
sure.
But yeah, she's still at the root of it a MAGA politician who has a lot of beliefs about, you know, gay people and trans people and immigrants and whoever that I do not agree with at all. But she has actually been important on the Epstein stuff. So yeah, props where it's due. It's like Kelly Oubre hit a couple threes. That doesn't mean he's a great basketball player.
I see James Dolan for who he is, Ben. That's all I gotta say. You can't trick me with a couple of Eastern Conference Finals appearances.
But this idea, right, of like what is poisoned here? Is it bad actors? Is it Ehud Barak and Trump and, you know, these Bill Clinton or the visitors to Epstein Island? It's that goddamn Kevin Spacey. No, that's Andrew Cuomo. Oh, okay, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like is it Prince Andrew? Is it Epstein himself? There are all these bad actors, but I think it's like the system is so fucked. I don't know what you can do with it. Is this happening in the NBA?
I always, throughout in the last few decades, I always remember to look up. Looking up is always in New York City. You're walking around, and now I tell my son this on the way to school and way back. I'm like, look up. The leaves are changing. The color of the sky is different. Keep on looking up, and you will find something there. So, in a similar vein of thought, like I have a couple baristas, a couple bakery guys that I talk hoops with. One who I just met, shout out to my guy Chickies, and another who I've been talking to for years about the Suns, about Bradley Beal, about Kevin Durant, like obsessive. And you know, there's been kind of a moment where they lost interest, especially this one Suns fan, in talking about the NBA, and recently admitted that they have not been following or watching games. And I walked home with my bread, kind of dejected, being like, what am I so obsessed with? Does it even matter anymore? And I said, no, it is not me. It is the NBA's problem, because I don't think it's the individual fan that is fallible here, obviously, but the corporation of the NBA, if we're talking about like a broader overarching power, influence, I think is misreading the whole thing, not only in its broadcasts thinning of different platforms, but the way I think they perceive bringing in the interests of kids, which is like streetwear, which is talking about brands like, shout out to Ronnie Kith, all these art directors, Daniel Arsham for the Cavs, Jonas Wood for the Clippers. But it's all to strengthen the brand and the corporation and the building. I think when we speak of the golden age of the NBA, if we're doing that, and the Sonics and Sean Kemp and Michael Jordan, these are about players. We're focusing on the company too much.
I think the player empowerment era with all the mobility because of free agency took its toll on the league in a way where this was their response. And sneaker companies had the same approach. They realized that, well, if we make a signature shoe for an athlete and they leave, well, then what are we going to do? We can't sell their shoe anymore. So we're going to try to have players associated with existing models, or a new model we're going to put out that the player is going to wear and the player is going to promote it. But if the player leaves, that's okay, because we still have the model of shoe. And then we're going to give it to the next athlete, and they'll become the face of this shoe. And that was a strategy that did not work.
Are you talking about like the Kobe strategy, or? Yeah.
I'm talking about the era kind of post-Kobe, where shoes were coming out and they were not doing signatures. They were doing Like, this is the hyper dunk and it's associated with this player. This player wears it. We're going to do a player edition for them in this colorway. And it wasn't that effective. End of the day, people like sneakers that players wear. They're interested in those things. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in the Ja. Cade got a signature. Wow, that's an honor. It's like a bigger honor than making the All-Star team. Like a sixth signature shoe for Nike. Okay, that puts you in like the rare company of Giannis and LeBron and KD, and now Cade is in that group. Like, damn, Brundog doesn't even have one. So
it's like in the Iron Chef.
I think this mirrors that. But when players started just bouncing around, teams said this has to be about the NBA. It has to be about the franchise. It has to be about the uniform. And now they're at a point where it may not be necessary because they've made it so prohibitive for players to change teams and so difficult to trade players because it's also the teams doing it themselves. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
It wasn't just free agency where players were bouncing left and right. It was teams deciding they didn't want to pay guys who were stars and trading them off for a rebuild, trading them off for draft picks. I mean, look at someone like KD. This is a guy that Oklahoma City built its franchise around. Then he went to Golden State, and that was not what that franchise needed at that time. And then he came to Brooklyn and should have been the face of that. Instead, he's in Phoenix. Now he's in Houston. It's like KD is the brand for KD. But they've made it more difficult, I think. And you're going to see players, in my opinion, like the Halliburtons and the Cades, probably spend a lot of time, at least 9 years, maybe more, with the same franchise.
Yeah, I was going to say this has efficiency written all over it, corporate efficiency. And in order to protect themselves, whether it be a sneaker company or an NBA team, they set up protections like a salary cap, limits on how much you can pay a player, because a player who doesn't have LeBron James doesn't want to see a team sign him for 12 years. Like, that just isn't helpful to your bottom line. Revenue sharing, all these things. And I think I always side on more information than less information, but the metrics versus eye test era is like still ongoing in a way that is not just a fan debate, but is affecting the thing we enjoy together. Because the efficiency of a money generating company like an NBA team and NBA league as a whole is based off of metrics. And they might not care that a barista has lost interest in the NBA, but they care if that is a signal that they're going to lose money. And I'm not sure that signal exists.
Yeah, it's hard to say because if you look back at the history of the league and the changes they've made, they're always to benefit ownership. Like, that's just how it works. They are it's company. Yeah. And they make the rules, and the players union, fights the good fight and tries to maintain their clutches on as much of the revenue pie as they can. But overall, these changes in contracts, for example, the league saying, how guys used to come out like Glenn Robinson or KG and just sign 10-year contracts.
Yeah.
We're going to lock you down for 10 years. And it's like, well, he ended up not being that good, so we don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And players like, cool, actually, we love 1-year contracts. That's great. We just can keep re-upping. I'm like, oh, we don't like those either.
By the word. Yeah.
We don't like those either. It's like, you guys keep making the changes because of, as you said, greed. You're just changing it to be more beneficial to being an owner, and that's served them really well. You look at the valuations of these franchises, which players do not get a penny from. And yes, you and your guys from Apollo Capital and Jeffrey Epstein's cronies, you went and you bought the Sixers, and it's like turned into probably a $3 billion company when you bought it for $500 million. I'm making numbers up here.
Yeah. I mean,
they've done a great job. So how do you knock them, right? It's like, you're the richest guy in the room. Of course you know what you're doing. Yeah, you're great at being a basketball organization. How could we ever question you? Look how rich you are.
I mean, yeah, I'm stuck in this idea sometimes of why. Why does owner want in the NBA? It's like, well, to win a championship. What comes with that? Money, right? Like, why would you be a loser at a poker table? It's like, well, who's at that table? It's like, well, very influential people. It's like, I'm willing to be the loser at this table, as we're talking about, like, what the hell are these Epstein people thinking, right? It's like, this is where the power is. This is where you gain leverage on them. Let's just hope you're not being leveraged upon. And I think when the NBA, and I think it's like a natural movement, but after decades, to use your examples of the big dog Robinsons or the Chris Webbers kind of betraying their bottom line, they've streamlined the mechanics of owning a team and operating a corporation, an entertainment enterprise, to maximize their profitability. And that doesn't mean they're making the most money they could. They're just securing the most money that's possible, right? The potential is big. The floor is also low. So I think they're trying to hit that middle as much as they can. And I think as a fan, that's all fine. But when you try to pitch us the idea of the NBA, this is why maybe there was, Ethan Strauss claimed like the Major League Baseball has surpassed the NBA. Shohei Ohtani, that World Series was incredible. Vlad Jr., like, how could you deny the star power there, even from a team in Canada? And I'm like, yo, there are some superstars in the NBA right now that are not being served, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think when you look at the success that the NBA has had in making money, it comes down to how can we improve the game in a way that fans will respond to, right? Like, that's the rules changes. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we're going to speed up the game. We're going to make it more offensive. We're going to make there be more shooting. We want it to, these are the elements that we change on a yearly basis. Like, there is an annoying version of, like, the rip through foul. We're going to change it. They do that. Fans say we don't like this activity on the court. The NBA changes it. So, like, that's what they do in fan service. If you bitch enough about something as the public, we will modify that. But the larger issues,
you want to gamble, right?
But the gambling is the other side of it, right? Where it's like, and then most of the other stuff is just about how much more money we can make and how much more we can control the players, and at what point does that start interfering with what's happening on the court. And the gambling stuff is interesting because my main takeaway is that this is a calamity for the league, and no one really cares. It almost falls under the Epstein thing. We're like, this is destroying basketball. This is the end of the NBA as we know it. Like, yeah, I guess we're just going to say it's fine and keep it rolling.
As devil's advocate, I think that is a correct way to approach this. In the same way people say screens are bad for you, touch grass. I'm like, well, this is just a reality of our lives now, and we have to accept it. I always talk about, like, games, right? Like, you either deny the rules of the game or you try to succeed within it. And sometimes you cannot change the rules. I don't think people are going to stop gambling. I think people are interested in gambling. This is a tradition as old as time. And I think the NBA was right to lean into it because however predatory and dark it can get, it was going to happen. And they have made mistakes, as we're finding out now in real time. They have maybe gamed the system themselves in a way that is unsavory, as we know from books being written about it by people who did hard time. But how to eliminate it isn't the question. How to give the air of fairness is a writing challenge, not a legal one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And again, I think looking at gambling as something that's going to destroy the league is just kind of naive. where I think it's bad, but they've decided that the money is too good and it should just be part of this. And they will endure whatever gambling scandals come along. Oh, yeah, a bunch of our players are just going to get booted from the league and netted up in, federal investigations on an annual basis. That's fine because we want these billions of dollars from gambling. We want to take the money from our fans. We want to take money that our fans lose on our sport to enrich ourselves. And once you've crossed that moral Rubicon, well then, yeah, of course, who gives a shit? We'll just ban these guys from the league if they miss a couple free throws on purpose. No big deal.
How do you prevent somebody from doing that, right? Like, you can make an example of Malik Beasley, which is kind of sad. He doesn't have a team right now. One of the best shooters in the free agent market that could help a bunch of teams. But that's going to not stop the next Jontay Porter from like trying to skim a little bit off the top. We're dealing with the same thing in Major League Baseball. These closers are just rifling pitches in the dirt just for a couple $1,000 off of prop betting, right? And like, this is where the action is. I'm not saying people are powerless here, but does someone have a good solution?
No, they're it feels
how.
like, could you put the toothpaste back in the tube and say, you know what, actually, in Mamdami's America, gambling is illegal. We're just going to outlaw it in New York City. You can't sports gamble here. Sorry, it's done.
It's not going to stop.
But I know that's what I mean. Like, I mean, people have tried to do these things in the past and been kind of effective. I mean, I would guess that there have been places where gambling was legal at one point and then they made it illegal, and they've gone vice versa. The prohibition famously didn't work. I just mean, there have been attempts to illegalize and legalize things all the time. I guess you could, in theory, say we're going to stop people from gambling on their phones. In theory.
Well, this is my annoying why thing again, because of course you could do that. Of course Mamdami can outlaw it, or someone in power can outlaw it. But does this affect the trust that the NBA is striving for, right? Because you could say, I'm not allowed to gamble on this free throw, but I think he's still missing on purpose. Like, the damage is that I care about. I don't care about billions of dollars. I'm not a part of that game. But like, if fairness is important, and that's up for debate, but it would take a long time for a system to adjust to say, this is a crooked player, so whether he misses or makes it is kind of negligible. Therefore, you can't really make that much money off of a Rozier's stat line. The Vegas lines are all subjective.
Well, I also think you hit the main point, is that the NBA can rot from the head down, but ultimately these are going to be seen as rogue actors. They are morally compromised players who cheated and ripped off fans to enrich themselves. The NBA, they had nothing to do with that. That was Jontay Porter, a marginal NBA player. How could we possibly know what he was up to or control it? And then we found out, we banned him. What do you want from us? It's like, well, yeah, but you created the ecosystem, and you were like, no, we didn't. Gambling already existed. We didn't do that. We just said, yeah, we're down. We'll make it part of our programming. We'd like to partner with these things. What did we do wrong? And you're like, it's not a bad argument, but I also think it's foul.
Listen, until 30 teams and commissioners and all the referees deny slobbing on Bubba Carrington's knob, I'm not going to believe it. I want to hear the words.
Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
Yeah. Mike Piazza, I see you.
But that's even the cap stuff, dude, where it's like, oh, the apron prevents that trade. You prevented the trade. You made the rules.
Yeah.
These aren't handed down on a stone tablet from the Lord himself. You guys made up the whole stupid apron shit. Now, well, it's really onerous to make a trade. You guys made it up. The teams made it up. You did this. Maybe CJ signed off on it, whatever the hell he's up to. But you guys
He's
created this thing. It's too onerous to make a trade. You know, the kicking. You did
I mean,
this.
when people beef about Presti possibly getting a top 3 pick because the Clippers are so bad, I'm like, get rid of the lottery and draft. You guys made this. It's not like air or gravity, things we cannot control ish, right? Like the sun rising. It's just like, you guys made this. Just don't do the thing that is less annoying. It's like, well, we can't really change the draft. It's already set in motion. I'm like, not with that attitude.
I mean, shouldn't Ballmer be banned? I mean, in a real world,
he owns the
shouldn't
company. Yeah.
But so, I mean, shouldn't he be forced? Shouldn't he be forced to sell the team in a like real world? I know they don't want to because he's rich. Like he's rich.
Owner.
He's not just a rich guy. He's a rich guy. But like he cheated. He gave millions and millions of dollars to circumvent the only rules that you actually even care about. You don't care about shit except for salary cap rules. Nothing else matters.
He committed a crime that was worse than Donald Sterling's crime, which was cultural and despicable and should have been penalized in the way that it was. But Ballmer's worse because he allegedly, right? We have Sterling on tape, but like allegedly, Ballmer circumvented the trust of the entire league. It's like if you buy an iPhone and you get a brick in the box instead of a phone. That's essentially what he's doing. And, you know, there's all this talk about socialism and all that, and people being scared of it. Sports is socialism, right? We are going to watch the Knicks versus Clippers. We have season tickets. We're invested in the league. Their win-loss percentage affects everything else. The Clippers are safe. We cannot choose to not patronize his company because it is a part of an ecosystem that we're invested in, and he gets propped up by the other owners and the other teams. He has to be removed, I think. Like, and if there's another team, if Miriam Adelson is doing the same thing, like you can just make a few $1 billion selling your team and move on. You can get season tickets all you want to every single game.
I mean, what we've been told is that the salary cap is literally sacred. That's it. Your team is restricted by these rules. As a fan, you should familiarize yourself with them because why can't we trade for that guy? Well, you can't. It's literally impossible. You couldn't do it. The money doesn't work. Like, yeah, unless you're one of the owners and you just decide that you don't want to abide by it. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been talking about this for a decade now, which is like the lowest form of NBA content is the mock trade, right? It's like, this is what I would do, a Bill Simmons special, right? Because none of it kind of is based in the real reality. Of course, you're mentioning players. Of course, you're mentioning teams and salary cap. But that's the thing. Bill Simmons just put out like a big trade package for Ja Morant, I think. And some NBA writer was like, yo, under the second apron, you got to read the rules. That none of this is possible. It may look possible through the ESPN trade machine, but they haven't updated their settings. And this is like super boring. My neighbor, diehard Knicks fan, a bit of a Jordan originalist, walking by the other day, just screams at me. It's like, Ja to the Knicks or what? How? I responded with the most boring answer of all time. I was like, under the apron rules, how are you going to do that? And that sucks because he was like, oh, I don't know the apron rules. I'm like, it can't happen.
This Ben Cho guy is a real joy kill. Killjoy.
Yo, no, it's more like, yo, Ben, that Andrew Kuo is a motherfucker about this cap stuff, man. The second apron is called the Quapron.
This guy loves the second apron.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't know hoops. He's just a keyboard warrior for the apron.
So that jackass,
yo, Ben, you
who
feel
just
me?
walked in. Yeah. No, that guy
Feel me?
loves the second apron, man.
Man, I seen him walking around wearing the same shit you're wearing, talking about the second apron and John Morant. Ben, you feel me? Rest in peace, Bencho. But you know what I mean? It is it's like an adjustment made on fans. It's like you guys are having too much fun. Now we're gonna have no illegal defense. It's like, what the fuck? It's like there's no rip through.
So this is kind of one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit on this because I think it's appropriate. We had talked about whether we should talk about this in the future or now, but the free throws are up, and the league does not like free throws. And if you go back and you look at the last 20 years of the NBA, free throws have continuously gone downward. Just every year, bing, 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 bing. Just like this downward slope of free throws, in part mostly because of the rise of three-pointers. Three-pointers are unlikely to draw fouls. There's less contact, and it means there's less shots at the basket, or at least around contact with defenders.
Less opportunities to double team, triple team. Yeah, it's a bigger space.
Yeah, exactly. It's just these things are directly connected, right? And this hasn't mattered whether James Harden has played or Joel Embiid has played or Giannis, these guys who SGA, guys who draw a lot of fouls. This has not changed until this year. And the numbers are pretty startling. And I'm not going to break it down by team or anything, but this is per 100 possessions. If you look at this year, there are basically 25.2 free throw attempts per game. Last year was 22. The year before that was 22. Before that was 23.5, 22, 22, 23, 23, 22, whatever. You get the point. It goes back 24. You got to go all the way back to 2011 to get up to 25 free throw attempts a game. Per 100 possessions. But you got to remember also when you add in per game, because tempo keeps going up, free throws are way above what they used to be. Like way, way, way above because of tempo. So we're talking about the most free throws per game that we've had going back to about 20 years. However, free throw percentages about the same. Field goal percentage is down. 3-point percentage is down. Can you tell us what we're looking at, Andrew?
I was going to be like, why? Burden of proof on me or you? What do you want? I have a theory. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I want to hear.
I just talked a bunch. I want to hear your theory.
I think like things move in obviously trends. Certain ball handlers like SGA, Jokic shoots a lot of free throws. Harden are in their prime now and drawing a ton of fouls. I think it's the kind of defenses they're showing, but also a lot of intentional fouling, a lot of fouling players who are bad at shooting threes. For example, I was watching a bunch of Knicks games that Mitchell Robinson was playing, and a couple weeks ago the announcer was like, as soon as he touches an offensive rebound, foul him, you know? And then a few games later, it's kind of what happened. A different announcer, but it was like he gets an offensive rebound, and players are darting towards him. It's like the Hacka DeAndre, the Hacka Shaq thing was misguided in a way, but also purposeful in other ways. And I think the trend towards more free throws this season, which is just starting, has to do with personnel in the league and strategy that is a trend.
I'm pretty sure someone who was less lazy than us could really get under the hood and come up with an answer to this question. But I'm going to speculate as you were speculating. I think one factor is that teams who are up now foul much more than they used to in the past because of the fear of threes. That is something that just did not happen in the past, and now it does. It used to be if you were up 3, you would foul to send them to the line as a strategy, and it had like basically a 50-50 chance. It was kind of your preference. If you're up 3, do you want to play defense and see if they tie the game with a 3, or do you want to try to like foul them and see if they make 2 foul shots and prolong the game by getting an offensive rebound, whatever the case may be.
Games used to be a foul free throw shooting result every game, right?
But in the last minute or so of a game, the team that was down was always fouling, sending the team that was up to the line, and they would run down and try to hit a 3 to like eat into that lead, hope the other team missed, hope they get a turnover. But it was the team that was losing fouled a lot. And that's changed a lot, where you look at OKC, for example. The last minute of the game, if they're up by like 4 points, they'll just keep fouling their opponents, and they'll elongate the game and just add like a few more foul shots that would not have been part of that ending 5 years ago. And there's a few teams that do that a lot. So I think that's part of it. I also do think the defense is getting better, and that's a sign of it.
Wings.
That wing defense is better. Bigs are better on the perimeter. Defense is more sophisticated in a way where they aren't giving up as many open threes. They're getting better at defending them. They're making teams attack closeouts. And a lot of defense now is based on not a big guy rising up in front of you to form a wall as a small guy attacks the rim, but the guy who's on him forced to guard him the whole way. And I think this is like where that's occurring in those little incidences as well. Like a guard drives, there's no big, his guy's trying to stay with him, he's turning his shoulder, he's trying to get around, square his hips, and then there's some contact. The offensive player is like putting a shoulder in his chest. It might be a block, it might be an offensive foul. I just think there's like a lot more one-on-one trying to guard people driving than there used to be, versus like the Roy Hibbert prototype.
Yeah, it's a bunch of things, and it's pace. And I struggled with this as a segment because I'm like, what are we really talking about? And obviously, as you introduced it, the culture of like SGA is unwatchable, Embiid is unwatchable, Harden's unwatchable, but it's a free throw merchant. Jalen Brunson, like his whole bag is fraudulent, and like there is a cultural stigma to something for free, right? Lining up for that red line of free throws. There is something unmanly about generating points through penalty. And I think it is delicious because it kind of opens up a debate for the culture of the product of what the NBA wants to give us. I mean, I think we've kind of speculated to a semi-truth of why this is happening. I kind of believe it through the things we discussed. But like, this is delightful for the hater and also delightful for the lover, because there's some majestic defenses that are committing these fouls, and great wings and great players who go to battle against these wings.
Yeah, I think the league's interest in keeping free throws down will ultimately benefit the defense finally. Mm-hmm. I would guess.
But does that,
you know what I mean?
Is
like
that a good thing?
I think
we
so.
Want offense. Points per game.
Well, I think the NBA juiced up the offense so much that they want to scale it back a little bit. And there's so many of these little different conversations, because it could make your scores go down to more reasonable levels, because I don't think people like seeing 135 to 132, but maybe it's just an acclimation process. But maybe you could make them go back down by making possessions longer, making it easier to defend in transition, to create more half-court opportunities, which then makes teams use more of the shot clock. But then that puts more of an emphasis on creating transition opportunities and makes them even more valuable, so people are going to even try to run more. So I've been trying to come up with theories on like, how do you do this? I think one is, what if you made the shot clock 30 seconds, 35 seconds?
Okay.
It would allow teams
to slow
who are
down
ahead to like take more time off the clock.
Maybe.
Perhaps you'd get better shots,
right,
because you wouldn't run into the shot clock. but you could just eat time off the clock, and that would just bring down scores.
Yeah, at the to penalize teams who play fast, which is like I think what we want as fans, but what we don't actually want. You say people bristle at high scoring games, which I think is true, and the Elam ending has been propositioned as a solution for that. We love it until it's time to do takes, and then we hate it. Watching a high scoring game is delightful, but as soon as it's over, being like, that was trash.
Right. I mean, again, I'm not even saying I would like them to add 10 seconds to the shot clock. I'm just like, what are the creative ways to do this? Because you can't make teams not run, and you can't make teams not seek out efficient shots. That's just going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're actually dealing with other variables, which is like why Adam Silver proposed the most obvious dumb one that I brought up as a joke at one point, which is, okay, quarters are 10 minutes. Problem solved. Everyone's scoring 105 points again. And we're done. The game is exactly the same. We're done here. But it's like you can't make teams play slower, I don't think. You can't make them not try to get layups. You can't make them... I just mean, even though defenses are better this year than they have been in the past, I think defenses are evolving. There's just so many possessions a game.
I mean, we're seeing this in a different form, to continue with your point, with injuries, right? Calf injuries, Achilles injuries, and scientists are saying, there was an article with proof being like, the game is faster. These moves that are effective put a lot of strain on the Achilles. This change of directions, the boosts from a sitting position is taxing. And we're seeing some injuries, especially with bigger guys. And of course, the logical solution would be like, stop doing those moves. They hurt you. But in terms of competition, you're like, I want a fast break. It's like, no, slow it down, like for the sanctity of the game. It's just like, but I envision 3 passes to an easy layup. And like, how do you prohibit a player from being competitive?
Yeah, I don't know if this comes down to expectations. Like, can you expect guys to play this many minutes, this hard, at this tempo, covering this much space, and not have a sore calf muscle turned into an Achilles? I don't know how you do that. And it doesn't help the NBA, of course, that the boomer take is that these guys are soft. Back in my day, we never would have sat out. We never would have gotten hurt. I'm like, you didn't have to bend your knees, man. You were walking up and down the court with Eric Snow, and you'd stand there in the paint, and people would drive, and every now and then you would hack the shit out of them. So you're like, yeah, we're tough guys. No, you weren't. You were just big, slow dudes who were good at rebounding and boxing out. Yeah. And
how about this?
That was the sport. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you worse. That's just what the sport was.
Yeah. I mean, how about this for a solution? In the final 3 minutes of every quarter, you are only allowed to execute the Pinoy step. Just slow it down. Just like it's a knuckleball. It's a knuckleball fight.
I like that. I still think there is a lot of evolution to be done on the Pinoy step as a weapon in basketball. It is underused because the shot fake on the zero step is like ridiculously lethal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you could do a step back. I was thinking about this. Like you could do a step back. You could drive, kind of push off somebody a little bit, step back into like a Dirk, one-legged fadeaway, not shoot it, but up fake, do the whole thing. Then put your foot down and then do a step through. You could basically do a Dirk from the elbow as a fake and then step to the basket. And if you were like Wemby or Giannis, probably dunk it.
Hey, I'm going to send a group text out to my guys, the My Guys chat, and say, gosh, why not, man? Like, okay, you're getting that opportunity. You're faltering. Time to learn the Pinoy step, man. Like Grayson Allen. Just like take your game up to the next level. This is the evolution of your My Guy story.
Yeah, the Pinoy step, as a basketball fan, I like it. As a
Beautiful.
player who is slowed down and can no longer jump, I love the Pinoy step. I've been using it since I heard about it a couple of years ago because we would talk with Pablo, be like, dude, the Filipino input is here.
Yeah,
Pinoy
yeah.
step is revolutionizing the game. And I started using it, love it on an offensive rebound. You get off the
Yeah.
offensive rebound, you fake up like you're going right back up. Someone goes to block it, and then you just keep on grooving and take another step under for like a little reverse, whatever. Yeah, Pinoy step is great. Zach Levine, very very nice ones. He's excellent at them too.
I mean, Luka Doncic, it is the wiggle that we talked about. We're always going to have wiggle is a living idea because it's always changing. If everyone learns the Pinoy step, we got to redefine how we call the players who can do even more than that. And like, no sin bin, but baseball pitchers who can hit 100 are extremely valuable. But if you can't mix that up with a changeup, even if the changeup from 100 is a 92, then people just rest on your fastball and just hit dingers.
As an aside on that, Pinoy step is one. Euro, obviously, those footwork moves that someone pulls them off in a game, and everyone on the sideline like does the same move is kind of like
Yeah.
that's like I really feel that in my heart. I love those scenes of everyone jubilantly doing a Euro step on the sidelines after like Russell Westbrook does one or whatever. I'm like, that's what it's like to be a team.
Is Jordan Clarkson glaring, being like, my culture is not a costume?
But like when you drop a great take, a lot of
Yeah.
people, don't know, but I usually will be mimicking your take, afterwards. Like you'll do like an incredible take about mapo tofu, and I'll be on the other side, like pretending to chef up some mapo tofu as you, in fact, are doing it.
You'd look at me on this feed and be like, Ben, that motherfucking Andrew, I hate how he has these great mapo tofu takes. Fuck that guy. And as
So
Ben, I'd
sick
be
of
like,
his-
I hear.
sick of his shit.
You know what I'm not sick of?
What aren't you sick of? The Rockets
Did I
offense?
jump the gun on that? Did I jump the gun? I mean, I'm not sick of the perfect pod again. The
No,
perfect late
let's do 10 more minutes. Let's talk Rockets.
my guy.
giving-
You want to talk about my guy?
I'm giving you the opportunity for a victory lap, for a Pinoy step victory lap.
Wow, because you could have picked any white guy. You could have gone the Nipmeister General. You could have gone, I forget, I had another white guy that I really enjoyed. But Reed Shepard, whatever. He was supposed to be
Whoa,
this good.
white
I-
power his guys to victory.
Hey man, sometimes I can see the yellow hat where others cannot.
So the Rockets, before the season, we assumed they would be a brutish defensive team who added KD to give them finally a player you could trust when you needed a tough bucket. Jalen Green was not capable of doing that, and neither was anyone else on the roster. So Durant solved a need, a defensive juggernaut, oversized team, shot blockers, multiple bigs, elite
Smart players.
rebounding,
Yeah.
smart players. KD was going to solve their offensive issues. Something else happened. They became an offensive dynamo. The Rockets currently have the best offense in the history of basketball at 125 offensive rating.
Which kind of happens every year, right? Because people are doing more Pinoy steps than ever. But yeah, like the Rockets are delightful. Kevin Durant is still, in my opinion, a top 10 player. Getting him was like absolutely a coup. And removing Jalen Green in the process is a tremendous upgrade. Shout out to Jalen Green. Even losing Van Vliet, who is like not a bad part of that a cog in that machine, but like I know Reed Shepard is something we joke about, but he's done well as a bench player. Kevin Durant, man, like when are we gonna give him his flowers?
I mean, the fact that KD is like 37, 38 years old, I don't know when his birthday is this year, but just kind of churning along at like 51% field goal percentage when that's his career average, putting up 26 points per 36 with his career average is 26.7.
Yeah.
Everything he's doing, his efficiency is like mid 60s, true shooting. It's like elite. It's crazy how good he is and his mastery of doing what he does. He doesn't reinvent himself. He doesn't modify anything. He just goes out there, rises up, and drains shots over you, and you can't do shit about it.
Jaylen Brown was talking this week to a reporter, a tiny green reporter, about why he's been so good at the midi this season. And he's just like, well, it's a shot that people don't respect anymore, and I'm very smart, and I'm also a leprechaun under this jersey. But like, if you're good at it, shoot it, right? If it is something in your arsenal, then Kevin Durant should absolutely stick to it. And if it's something that teams don't or cannot identify defensively because it compromises their point of view on a possession, then like keep on taking this shot. And in a way, he found this hack a long time ago, and it has not been properly addressed as a 7-foot dude who is just killer from the mid range.
Yeah, I mean, KD, is shooting 53% on long twos.
Yeah.
He shot over 50% for his career almost. Like, these are just ridiculous shots. It's like,
Yeah.
Not for his career, but his later career, every year he's shooting over 50% on long twos.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, like, someone who isn't Kevin Durant should be shooting those things. But this goes back to your initial point. It's like, right, you can create a defense that takes away threes, takes away shots at the basket, and encourages your opponents to take mid-range shots. And none of this is revelatory. And every team has some guys who are good at making mid-range shots, and they're the ones who take those. If you are a shitty role player, you're not allowed to take those. I remember talking with someone who was friends with a player on the Sixers, and I'm just not going to say who they are. It's not a big deal because it wasn't for attribution, whatever. But whatever. It's a marginal player on the Sixers, and they told someone that I get yelled at by Nick Nurse if I take a mid-range jumper. Even in practice, I can't take those. It's not my job. I take threes. I cut to the basket. Mid-range jumpers are for the Embiids, the Maxis, and so on. Those are for star players. That's not who I am in this ecosystem. I get yelled at for taking them. And I think that's probably like most teams. If the shot clock is winding down, all bets are off. But generally speaking, if like the Knicks, maybe they're a little different than most teams because all their guys can kind of shoot mid-range jumpers okay. But generally speaking, like, that's for Brunson, maybe Bridges. That's what you're allowed to take.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers dared Josh Hart to do something, and he was like, I'm not taking this midi. That's not my game. And it's like that Patrick Ewing meme, right? It's like, have you ever practiced that shot before? When have you shot that shot? And it's crazy to think about because all these players are like been hitting these shots since they were kids in their backyards or in the park. The Rockets are fun, man. And it hinges on players like Asar Thompson, who is like a bit of an unknown still. Is he a big point guard? Is he a defensive set? Could he be an offensive superstar? Like, that is fascinating. And then you have Şengün, who we are complex about. We think he's a player worth talking about, but undeniably good. And he's coming into his own.
Andrew?
And then you just add Durant. What? Şengün,
It's time.
is he your guy?
It's time. No, it's time for your Pinoy step. Come on. The only one who knew about Reed Sheppard, proven correct.
I don't want to talk about it because now I'm moved on to Khan Knippel because Reed Sheppard, man, people are like, we always knew about Reed Sheppard. My work is done here, Ben. My work is done. I have built an NBA player just through my faith and courage and bravery.
You put the quarter zip on Reed Sheppard, and now the world knows that he is a grown adult. He is capable. He is efficient. He is effective as a pro basketball player.
He had a couple bad games to start the season off, maybe a couple bad weeks, and people like Bill Simmons were like, the Rockets need a real point guard. How are they going to get Ja Morant on the team? I'm like, hold up. You have a player who might be better than Ja Morant in 2025 in terms of availability, in terms of skill set, and in terms of cost, cap space. You're fine as it is. That's the courage that Cookies Hoops is all about.
I'm not a BPM absolutist by any means. Just a little quick thumbnail on the Rockets. Şengün, 6.3. Reed Sheppard, 5.5. Kevin Durant, 2.1. And then going down from there. So he is no Kevin Durant, or is he?
No.
But
I mean, Sheppard does it all in 20 minutes. That
is a valuable player to have, and it's mostly on the offensive side. But he is a big part of the Rockets having the greatest offense in the history of the NBA.
And is that going to hold up? Like, if Cam Johnson gets hot, can the Nuggets kind of eat into that share?
Right. And can you do anything? Well, again, what Houston is also doing that deserves to be mentioned is that they are the best offensive rebounding team. I don't know the stats, but maybe proportional to this era ever. They're rebounding like 38% of their misses. It's just ridiculous. And
until Adams goes down for his obligatory 40-game absence, right? Like
totally.
That's going to happen.
But again, a very interesting team where their egregious size and aggressiveness in the paint is actually not showing defensive dividends. It's showing offensive dividends.
Right. Yeah, I love that. This is Materialist, the movie, relevant. I want you to watch that movie about height as a statistic for dating. But yeah, I mean, to doubt the Rockets would be foolish, even though we've had a guest on Cookie Soups recently. I'm not naming names, Jason Nacito, who said they weren't even going to make the playoffs. It turns out they have the best offense in history. Did
you see? Hey, do you know that guy who just walked in? That's the guy who doubted the Houston Rockets. Yeah, Andrew Kuo.
Yo, Jason, you know I can't stand this Kuo. He fucking said the Rockets weren't going to make the playoffs, man. Can't stand him.
You know what?
Why are you?
You know what I can always stand more of?
Yellow hats and perfect pops.
Cookies.
I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.